Oh, kia ora whanau, we are back. I don't know how many of you have since watched this documentary, Fire and Fury, that Stuff Circuit have put out. Definitely a very triggering video for a lot of people. Man, it was definitely an eye-opener. So, yeah. So we're back to discuss this a bit more in depth. We've got a couple of people who are going to join us for the conversation and just give their thoughts on it. There were just so many things that need addressing in that documentary. The narrative was extremely one-sided. The bias cannot be ignored. It was so blatantly obvious. But we do have Maria, who spent some time analysing the article that they put out as a prelude to the documentary, and she's done a lot of research, and I'd love to get her thoughts on it. So let's just see if we can get her in here. Yeah, it was awful, Deb, and probably for the first time since I started live streaming, I'm actually going to have a ciggy while we do this one. Oh, kia ora Maria. Kia ora
Hi,
Maria, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh my goodness, what a ripper of a morning and a thing to wake up to. I don't, I've heard that maybe it was released sooner. Was it released sooner and we've only just seen it today? What's happened
I'm not
there?
sure, sorry.
No,
Just the
that's cool.
article last night that Phil um,
Yes,
said
yes.
was
So the
coming out and
article
that they were going
they
to
put
release
out
it today.
yesterday was very concerning. Yeah, and it touched on a lot of things, and I just wanted to hear your thoughts on what was contained in that article, because I know that you've read it and you've picked it apart and you've actually discovered a few really interesting things about the way it was put together. Are you able to share some
Yeah.
of that information with us?
Yeah, well, last night Phil was really gracious to share the document with us, and so I sat down and read it, and I was not very happy with what it said. So I thought I would just take some time to sit down and analyze it, pull it to pieces, and then when I started looking, it's pretty shallow. The links that they have got in the document are just related to more of their stuff articles, and in mainstream media, how they portray stuff. So essentially, there was only
Mhm.
one credible source, and it was only a snapshot of what is going on. So even that wasn't a worldview generalizability or anything. So, yeah. I spent quite some time
Mm.
putting the video together just to reassure
Yeah.
people that okay, stuff's coming out, uh, but it's got no guts.
So, for those at home who aren't aware, the article that we're referring to at the moment is an article that was put out by Stuff yesterday, and it was titled Why We Decided We Should Report This Dangerous Speech. And the video that Maria is referring to right now is a video that she put out on the NZ United page. Is that correct?
I did.
Yep. Just addressing all the issues that sort of popped up with this article and how it came to be. So you just mentioned that there was only one real, sorry, what did you say? One real link or something?
Credible,
One.
yeah. And it's a research website that they used,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, all the rest of them. One of the links that they had, it wasn't active, and the other links were just all linking back to the stuff articles. So we find ourselves in a place
So
where
they're
we have to have.
referencing their own work.
Sorry,
Are they referencing their own work? Is that what you're
they are.
saying?
Yeah,
Ah, okay. Well, that's interesting. And a lot of
very.
their work, as we can see, is a lot of stuff that's been sort of cut and edited and then used to portray a story that they're trying to tell. What do you think the story is that they were trying to tell with the article yesterday?
I think just with the language that they're using, how vulgar, and essentially they're trying to portray us as um, not very good people, that we're a bit extremist, and that we aren't good, hardworking, normal Kiwis, just like everybody else. The
Yeah.
words that they used here were quite impactful and a little insulting.
A little. You're being very generous with that wording. So, oh my goodness. So, have you also looked into the background of these two reporters who put, it was two main reporters that put together this piece, wasn't it?
It was Paula and Louisa, and I just took a quick look at them, and their credentials are really good. Oxford University, and a journalism course, and a bachelor degree in social science and stuff. So these ladies should actually be really good at what they do, but unfortunately, I'm not sure the reason why.
Yeah.
They are definitely coming up short. The budget is superseding the content.
Mm. So what you're saying is, on paper, these two reporters, they look like quite good people, quite well-educated people, yet they've chosen to do this piece, and obviously they've been paid for it. I can see from the wording in the article, it was funded by New Zealand On Air. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a bit hard to not be biased and bite the hand that's feeding you. So I think they're kind of leveraged in that if they want to keep their job and credibility, then they've got to essentially do what they're told.
Right. So they sort of describe this piece as an investigative article, an investigative documentary of high standards of journalism. Would you say that they've been able to maintain independence in the reporting of this article?
I'm not entirely sure because they never interviewed any of the people that they have got in the documentary piece. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at it yet. I'm still debriefing from the
Mm.
article, but I will have a look at the documentary and analyse it, and potentially pick some holes in it if they are there. If they're not there, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So um, the narrative, I hear you when you say they didn't actually interview any of the people that they did this article about, and that's it's quite true. They've talked to a few people and got their comments on the article and the documentary, but from no one that they were doing it about. So it seems like a very one-sided kind of
Yeah.
thing. Would you agree with that?
Sorry, you're just cutting out a second.
Oh, sorry, apologies. Would you agree that the article seems very one-sided?
I would agree with something. Sorry, I missed the end of it.
Would you agree that the article and the journalism that went into it was very one-sided?
Very,
Very.
incredibly, ridiculously. And it really saddens me that we've got to a place where we have to, create, like you, Zeb, and Chantel, and the other people that are putting out content. And it's a product of the circumstances that we find ourselves in. And you would have
Mm.
noticed it in Wellington that we put out our content so that people at home could see this is actually what's happening. What they're saying in mainstream media is their truth, but it's not the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. So what, in your opinion, what would they need to do to get the whole truth?
I would say get interviews with the people that they are essentially trying to condemn. And then once you meet the people and the reasons why they are doing what they're doing, you've got more of a fuller story instead of standing on the outside looking in at these theoretically thuggish people. it's only ever going to be one perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. And to me, that really cancels out what journalism stands for. Journalism, you, there's not supposed to be any bias involved in journalism. There's not supposed to be any narrative from any other organisation put through in journalism, but it seems like that's exactly what has happened here, especially when you note the funding from New Zealand On Air. I mean, where does that money come from? Essentially, at the end of the day, who pays that? Is that our taxpayer money?
Yep, 3.7 million dollars they received, Stuff did. So, you know, that's a big incentive to put out what the person who's paying the bill wants you to say.
3.7 million. I can see how money would speak volumes when it comes to something like this. So there's already very heavy bias involved because, like you said, they've taken money from the government in order to produce this content. I'm on the right track. Yeah.
Yep.
And was there anything else that you saw in this article and you sort of thought, hey, that's not right. You haven't told the whole story here. Was there anything that you picked up in there that just really didn't sit right?
Essentially a bit condescending when they are asking core questions, you know, will we run with this expose, or are we just going to not? And giving us, you, them, freedom fighters a platform, it made no sense to me. That aren't you supposed to be unbiased and give everybody a platform to say their 2 cents worth? But this is not the case.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're making assumptions about people that making assumptions about people that haven't even.
Sorry. So for those who haven't already seen Maria's video tackling this article and pulling it to pieces a bit, she has put it on the NZ United page, and it's a 9-minute video, and it's actually really informative and full of a lot of good facts. So I do encourage everybody to go and check that out. I'll post a link to it on my page as well, so people can access it. But Maria, I really, really appreciate you coming to speak with me today and sharing your knowledge. You've obviously put a lot of time and effort into this. So we appreciate you. Thank you. And I'll be very interested to hear your thoughts once you've watched the article. Sorry, once you've watched the documentary, yeah, I'll be very interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I will once I take a break. Okay.
Absolutely. Right. Have a great day. Much love. Thank you so much. And we'll catch up later.
All right. Look forward to it. Take care.
Kia ora. Okay. Right, so that was Maria Smith, and yeah, she's got a lot of interesting things to say, and she's done so much good research. So if you haven't already seen that, again, please go and watch that video. I've just got a request from Leslie Farger to join the video. I'm not sure who Leslie is, but we'll bring him in and we'll see what he has to say. Just adding in Leslie now. He may not be responding to the request. I'll just leave it a little bit longer. Right, Leslie doesn't seem to be coming in, so I'll cancel that request. If anybody else would like to share their opinion on, you know, especially if you've watched this documentary, if anyone would like to have a chat right now and basically let me know how you feel about it, I'd really like to hear from you. Just hit request to join video just down the bottom there in the buttons. But yes, I was definitely caught very off guard personally by this documentary, and it's definitely triggered some feelings, some pretty strong feelings. how do we address it? Where do we go to from here? That is definitely the question. So I'm hoping a little bit later we're going to have Carleen join us from Save the Children. As you know, Carleen was featured quite prominently in this documentary, and I'd really like to hear her opinion on it. I've just had a request from Judy Martens to join the live and have a wee bit of a chat about this. Let's see what Judy has to say. One moment. Judy, how are you?
Hi, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. It is so nice to put a face to your name. I've seen your name pop up so often.
Well, yeah. It was a very stressful documentary, I must say.
Absolutely agree. So whereabouts are you located, Judy?
I'm 40 minutes south of Ottawa.
So we've got
Mhm.
Judy here all the way from Canada, weighing in on what is going down in New Zealand at the moment. Do you have a personal link to New Zealand, Judy?
I I've always wanted to visit. Um, I'm a big Lord of the Rings nerd. It's that simple. It really
Fair
is.
enough.
So I put a New Zealand flag on my Jeep, and I drove it from British Columbia to Ottawa. So
Oh my God,
now
you
I'm in the
guys,
area.
that's
I,
fun.
I've,
Wow.
I've got the flag representing. So for me, it is personal. I've been following your guys' convoy since you started. So I hitched
That's
on
amazing.
because I was so inspired by the truckers here, and I'm
Oh,
watching all the same things happen here that are happening down there now. So yeah,
well,
it is a scary time because yeah,
yes.
it's we've got two bills going through Congress right now, Bill C-11 and C-12. C-11 will fight against like what they will call hate speech, and Bill C-12 is to silence any independent media. So any independent media is going to have to go
Wow.
through government guidelines. So it's happening here, like, and it's how he started. Trudeau, that's what he called us first, right? Racists, misogynists, white supremacists. That's how we started. That was the first thing he said. We were just a small fringe, and now it's ballooned. It's 6 months later, and he's trying to push it through Congress. So yeah,
Wow. That's
it's as real as that.
shocking. Just
So watching that
absolutely shocking.
documentary is terrifying. It really
Yeah,
is.
so what was your first impression of that documentary?
Uh, Fake. The way they were pushing, like, all the subtle little hints, like, oh, this person's watching on her phone, oh, this guy's got his laptop open, and it's like, oh, it'll be in your house, and the fear, yeah. It was right away, it was very obvious, like, it's meant to make people nervous who are going to watch it, who don't know, because I watched all the live feeds. I watched Chantel Baker, I watched Papa Hannes, the one hell at a time. I loved his live feeds. He's such a great fun guy to watch. So I was hooked on the live
Oh,
feeds. I was sharing them because I was living in two time zones because I was on your guys' time zone. So when things were happening there, I was sharing them to Canada, to our groups,
oh
and
my
vice
goodness.
versa. So like single-handedly just trying to get this ring to Mordor and take down the Dark Lord Sauron.
Well,
Sorry.
you're absolutely amazing. We're so lucky to have your support. So you would recognize a lot of the faces that were in that
I did.
documentary. Yeah,
Yep.
so
Yep.
you recognize
And
Charlene.
yes, I was yelling at my phone. These are my friends. I was livid. I am livid. It's
Yeah.
what time is it? It's almost 11:30 p.m. on Saturday night here, and I'm not nearly sleeping. I watched it,
Oh,
and I'm just like, oh, you don't talk about my friends
yeah.
that way. Like, I'm shaking. I'm so, yeah, it did what it was supposed to do. It got me worked up, but in the right way. Unfortunately, it'll get
Yeah.
too many people worked up in the wrong way.
So can you see some similarities between what's happening in Canada with your bills being passed regarding independent media and what's happening here in New Zealand right now?
that's why I requested to jump in. It,
Wow. So
it,
tell me more about this. So they're putting through a bill to shut down independent media, and
yeah,
that would include, like, if I was there, it would include content like
any
mine. Is that
YouTuber,
correct?
yeah, any YouTuber with a live feed going will have to go through
Wow.
government regulations. So there's a lot
So
of people
our
that are
government here in
they
New
are
Zealand,
fighting it, but Trudeau, he formed a coalition with the opposition party, right?
yeah.
So the Liberal is now forged with the NDP. So they're just doing whatever they want now. So it's aggravating, to say the least.
So what do
So,
you think the
and
likeliness is of that bill being passed in Canada?
pretty pretty somewhat good. I'm worried. I'm worried. We're all worried.
Yeah.
Like all the freedom fighters here, we're worried because we rely on it. Like we rely, like not all of us are like into Telegram as much here or Gab. Like I am. So I mean, but
Mhm.
I don't know a lot of people that are. So
Yeah.
and you know it is funny when Facebook puts you into jail. It is funny, ha ha ha. But it's just I see it so often now, and it's over stupid things. And now they're going way into your past posts. I think I posted something like 4 years ago, and they're like, "Hey, this is questionable." I'm like, "Well, it was 4 years ago. You know, I'm glad you think it's anyway." But no, it's
Yeah.
there are enough people
I've
fighting it.
noticed a lot of that here
Um,
too.
yeah. So thankfully, there are enough people fighting it. But it just the fact is that the Supreme Court has actually found that the protests were legal. And Trudeau is still saying, oh, the illegal occupation. He's still saying it was illegal, and it was not illegal. So what good is like a Supreme Court if it finds in favor of the freedom movement, the protesters? We had nothing, completely peaceful. We had zero incidents, and
Mm.
they're still doing whatever the HELL, or as we say, HE double hockey stick, um, whatever the hell they want, right? So I
Yeah.
don't know what's going to happen. That's why I'm here. That's why I felt the pull across my country.
It's a very big
Traveled over
concern.
over
I think
5,000 kilometers
maybe
to
New
get here.
Zealand
Yeah,
maybe New Zealand needs to pay a bit more attention to what's happening in Canada and other places regarding independent media being silenced. Because at the end of the day, our independent media are far closer to the truth than our paid media. Our paid media seem to
yeah,
have a
because
very obvious bias and a very obvious narrative they're following in order not to bite the hand that feeds them, so to speak. And it's
yeah,
extremely concerning because now they're sort of attacking the people who aren't being paid to put out these videos, the people who are doing
yeah,
it basically because they feel so strongly about the truth and what's actually happening. And
yeah.
so that is a huge
They're the
concern,
boots on the ground people.
absolutely huge. What was that, sorry?
So the boots on the ground. That's I've kind of I came out here with nothing, and now I'm armed with a camera, and I've got a YouTube channel, and I go as Rosie Convoy.
Rosie Convoy on YouTube. I haven't seen that page. I'll have to check it out.
It's
Thank you
brand
so
new.
much.
It's I post like, well, I just started, but I want to go live when I'm in Ottawa because I'm working with a small independent media company now, and we try to make a lot of the
Nice.
protests. So yeah, I'm right there in the
Yeah.
thick of things. So yeah, here's me all the way from that was. Do you remember shaking the 8 ball?
Oh, yes, shaking the 8 ball. Yep.
And you said, Judy, you're going to Ottawa. That was me.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
That was me. That was me. And you said you're going to Ottawa. And I didn't know at the time that I was going to go. So you actually called it, and I was in Ottawa in the middle of April. I haven't left.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
so yeah, I'm trying to keep everybody informed with what's going on. But But yeah, and
Wow.
thank you for letting me jump in, because the scare is real, confirmed by
It
a
is. It is.
Canadian in the front, on the
Absolutely.
front line here.
And
So
thank you so much for all the work that you're putting into this, and for all the support that you are providing and giving. Honestly, it's priceless. So thank you so much. And thank you for chatting.
well, I love
Uh,
you guys so
really
much.
good to see your face.
Yeah, it's really nice to see you too. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I don't know how to. You
All
might
right.
have to kick me out of here. Okay, wait, leave broadcast. Okay,
I
bye
will.
guys. Kia ora.
Bye. Oh, wow. Okay. So that was Judy all the way from Ottawa in Canada, who has been following the journey of New Zealand versus the government, obviously since Parliament, maybe before. But that was really interesting to hear what she had to say, especially about how they are currently passing bills in Congress over there to silence independent media, the likes of myself and JP and Charlene and all those sort of people. So I've just got a request here from Portaloo Phil to join. Let's see what he has to add to this little situation. Come in, Portaloo Phil. Here we go. Hey, mate.
Hi, Zeb.
How you
As you
doing?
know, I saw this come out yesterday. I was really concerned with the actual article that was just the prelude. As Maria's already covered, it was a pretty obvious article. It was going to be bias, and there was going to be a lot
Yeah.
of bias, obviously. Now I've watched the video, and very concerning. Um, didn't touch on a lot of us, but it smeared us with the worst brush, basically tarnishing us as if we were fascists. I've just put out something today on my Facebook about the political compass and where we actually stand. I think most people in the freedom movement are going to be libertarian and liberals, far from fascist, as far from
Is
fascist
this
as you can get.
the quiz? Is that the
Yes, yeah,
political
we
quiz
did it
thing?
last week. Yeah,
Yes,
I
I
thought
remember
I'd
it.
throw it up on Facebook so other people could jump on, have a look at where they stand politically, so they can make an educated, you know, speak about it to others in our groups and say, no, we're as far away from fascists as you can get. That they're tainting us, they're trying to make us out to be like dissidents, terrorists even. And I just thought, I saw
Yes.
you on, and I saw the people that you're talking to. I thought I'd just jump on for a quick chat and say, look, I completely disagree with what stuff is done. Um, it's just stirring up the public against the freedom movement, and it's so offensive how they've done it. It's sneaky even.
Why do you think they've done it? Why do you think they've put this out there? What do you think their motivation is? And pure speculation here. What at your guess, what would it be?
Yeah, well, with us announcing that we're going along with the Freedom and Rights Coalition, it's very unusual. I saw nothing from Freedom and Rights in the video, nothing in the article, but it's obviously been
Yes,
time
I
to
thought
come
that was
out.
interesting too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It was a bit of an eye-opener that a movement as huge as the Freedom and Rights Coalition had no mention whatsoever in that document or article. However, we do know that I've heard something about the Freedom and Rights Coalition receive a bit of funding. Am I far off the mark here? I'm
I've
not 100% sure.
I've heard that too, but I have yet to confirm that. I believe that their funding will probably come through Destiny Church, more than anything else. I can't believe that they'll
Of
get
course,
government
yes.
funding at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very unusual that there was just nothing, absolutely nothing. None of the video clips. I can't recall seeing Brian Tamaki or any of the people from Freedom and Rights in
No.
their video. They were very focused on counterspin, but then all the offshoots, anybody who's touched counterspin, uh, politically could be completely different, and they've been smeared with the same brush. So yeah, it seems to be a smear, and it seems to smear us all as ultra right, which, I've talked to so many people in the freedom movement. I've been up and down the country over the last few months. I don't see any of this ultra right, this neo-fascism, white supremacy. It's just non-existent in our movement. I don't see it. Nobody talks to me about it. I can't believe that they're smearing us like that.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And so, Phil, are you planning on being at Parliament on the 23rd of August this month?
Yes. Now, I've just started a trading course, which starts tomorrow. I'm meant to be training that day. I've told them, look, I've got previous commitments. I won't be there. But I'm hoping to get a job through
Yeah.
the training course. As most of you know, I'm fighting a legal battle. I need to get the money together. So
Yeah.
I need to get to work and start earning enough money. I've got about 10 weeks until my next court date, but that's not even for a trial. They've been extending it out. Lots of the minor charges have just been thrown out of court, but of course they've charged
Yeah.
me with assaulting police officers and resisting arrest and rubbish like that, and they want to prosecute. And it's not just me. There are a number of people who have more severe charges that they intend to prosecute to the end.
Yeah. And Phil, what are your thoughts on how this documentary is going to affect how this next protest at Parliament goes? Do you think it will have any effect on the people that are attending? What do you
Oh,
think?
I think they'll come out there. We'll have stuff in the Herald and the typical mainstream media, and they will be out there based on that documentary, looking for any excuse to tar us with that same brush. I just want to say, if you're going down on the 23rd, we don't want you to bring any weapons. It's a non-violent protest. We're standing up and we're just speaking out. And I'll be going with the NZ United team. I feel that NZ United is what we're about. Unite as one, speak up against what's wrong, and just speak. Stand and speak.
Yeah.
We're not there to cause any trouble. We're not there to disturb them, and it's just a one day. We're not going to be camping out overnight or anything. We're just there for the day.
Yeah.
Now, I know that the Freedoms and Rights Coalition came up with this idea first. We're going to stand with them and make a stand, but we don't have to be part of their agenda. We've got our own things that are going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, well, I appreciate you weighing in on this.
No
I
problem.
respect your opinions and what you have to say. So thank you so much for joining the video, Phil, and look forward to catching up with you at Parliament.
Thanks so much for making this available for us to do, Zeb. And thanks for getting in straight away when you saw that video, because we need to address it. See you later.
Yeah, see you later, mate. Yeah, so yeah, this documentary is definitely definitely cannot be avoided, or it's like the elephant in the room at the moment. I think it needs to be talked about, and I think it needs addressing. Not everyone would agree with me, I'm sure, but yeah, that's my personal feelings. Now I've got Ginny here who's keen to join and weigh in, so let's see what Ginny has to say. Just bringing you in now, my friend. Okay. Just give it a little bit longer, Ginny. All right, so it doesn't look like Ginny's answering. So the next person who's requested to join is Cain Alexander from Tararua Freedom Family. So we'll just see if we can bring him in. One moment. Okay, no, it doesn't look like. It looks like we might have lost Cain, but that's okay. If anybody else wants to weigh in with their 10 cents, so their thoughts of this documentary, specifically if you have already watched it, I'd be very interested to hear your opinion and your thoughts on, you know, basically how this is going to affect the next things that happen here in our nation, here in New Zealand. Yeah, so I'm still in a little bit of a state of shock, I guess. How do you request to join? Right, you just click the link down the bottom, or I can try and bring you in. This is Rachel, and it says couldn't add guest. Rach, there should be a button down the bottom that says request to join. I've just got another request from Ginny, so we'll see if we can add her in again. One moment.
Hi.
Here we are. Ginny, how's it going, baby? I'm
Good.
It's
How
so
are
good to see your
you?
face again. Oh,
Mhm.
so how are
Thank
you?
you.
Have you watched this documentary?
Yeah, I did. I did
And,
watch it.
and what were your immediate thoughts?
Yeah, I was pretty pissed off. I was pissed off. Yeah. Because it didn't have people like Guy,
Yes.
Guy Hatchard. It didn't have Matt King. It didn't have Dr. Sheldon. They showed us in a very poor light.
Very.
Yeah, I was very surprised, to be honest. Well, I was surprised, but not surprised.
I do know what you mean. Yes, it was a shock, but it's been coming for a while, I think. They've obviously used a lot of footage that they had taken from the protest, and they've cut and snipped it in order to make this documentary. And they've obviously only shown the footage that they want to show and the footage that goes with their narrative, which is, to me, that's one of the most concerning parts. What are your thoughts on how, or if this will affect at all, the gathering at Parliament on the 23rd?
Oh, I don't think it's going to affect it. I think it's probably going to make us a little bit more determined to get our point across, which is it's unacceptable to try and throw us under the bus, because we're not going to be quiet anymore or locked down. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was feeling good about it, and then when I'm talking about it, I get angry again. It must be the emotional feminine side of me.
It was certainly a very triggering documentary, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who are reacting the same way right now as we speak. What are your thoughts on the independence of this media shitstorm? I'm going to say shitstorm because I don't know how else to describe it. But what do you think? The whole meaning behind journalism is getting both sides of a story. Do you feel like they captured both sides of the story here?
Oh, I don't think they've done that in a few years now. So, yeah, I don't follow mainstream media anymore because you don't get both sides. So it's like when you go to a doctor, you want to know about what will work and what won't, and what is going to be a side effect, and you just get silence now. So yeah, my faith in the media and police and medicine is not there anymore, and it's quite unsettling, but it's quite empowering at the same time.
Yeah. And if sorry, I'm trying to put this question into words. So Did you see that the part with Judy from Canada, who let us know that they're passing a bill in Congress in Canada at the moment to silence independent media? What are your thoughts on that? And do you think it's going to happen like that in New Zealand as well? Do you think New Zealand will follow suit trying to pass a bill like that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Because they don't want to have anyone that's going to go against their narrative. And
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but you know how I feel about independent view. I know it's a personal thing, but it's just like that's just an indication that if we get one independent media gone, it leaves a big gap. It leaves a gap in our freedom movement that we really need, and it's shutting our mouths up on a whole new level.
Yeah.
And it worries me.
Absolutely. It is.
Yeah.
It's certainly very concerning. And sorry, where are you located again, Ginny?
Mangakino.
Mangakino, I know where that is. And are you planning to be down in Wellington on the 23rd?
Yeah, I am. I've booked in 10 days in Wellington. That's to cover the 23rd and the global walkout.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, well, I look forward to seeing you down there. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your opinion on this thing.
One thing.
What were you going to say, sorry?
Are you bringing Jess?
Oh,
Are you bringing Jess?
I can't go without Jess.
Yes.
Jess will absolutely
Brilliant.
be there with me. Hey, thanks, Jenny. We'll chat later, mate. Bye.
Oh, bye.
Oh, awesome. Well done. So, yeah, Jenny's awesome. I've got another request here from Cain. We'll see if we can bring him in now. So this is Cain Alexander from Tararua Freedom Family. He's located in Pahiatua. Right, we'll leave it a bit longer, Cain. I'm not sure if you're receiving the request to join. No, not working. Okay, no worries at all. If there's anyone else who would like to share their opinion on this documentary, please jump on. And yeah, because I'd love to hear from everyone and where they sit on this. Cain, I've tried to add you twice and it keeps saying declined. So yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that, Cain. Maybe some technical issues on your phone or something. Right, where to from here, Whānau? How do we prepare ourselves? Do we prepare ourselves somehow for, you know, what Judy was saying about the silencing of independent media? How do we prepare for something like that? I don't even know where to start. Okay, I've got Rachel trying to join. Sorry, Rach, I can't see a request from you here. I'm not sure how to bring you in because I can't even see you in the list. Sorry, Rach. Please hit that request button again, Rach, if you can. There was someone else I saw there who I would love to have an opinion from. I'll just say if she will accept my request to join the live. I won't say who it is, just in case she's not comfortable to join. One moment. Just sent a request through. Let's see if she accepts. And that's possibly a no. No worries, that's okay. There was someone else in the comments that I would really like to bring on. Just a sec. Okay, here we go. Right. Just requesting now. Here we go. Right. We've finally got Cain Alexander from Portaloo Phil.
Out the landscape mode. How are you, Zeb?
It's okay, all good, brother. I'm okay, you know, still reeling a bit from that documentary, but talking to other people about it like we are now is definitely helping. Just gathering everyone's thoughts on it, mate. So how long ago did you watch it? Not that long ago, I assume.
No, it's probably been about 25 minutes or so since I watched the end of it. I had a couple of cigarettes and sat quietly for a moment.
Yeah,
Essentially, in my opinion, what I just watched was a fascist propaganda video accusing us all of being fascists.
pretty much.
It's madness. My personal opinion is this: is their attempt to rock everybody up and try and make us look like what they say we are, which is not true. As somebody who was at Parliament, I couldn't help but notice through that video, they left out all of the parts where the police officers were attacking innocent people, many of them elderly, many of them very young.
They sure did. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, I can totally sort of guess your feelings, strong feelings regarding this documentary that's just come out. Ooh, what is your advice to other people who haven't yet watched it?
When you watch it, don't fall for it. Don't get angry. Don't go and do something stupid. Don't go on a rage. Realise it for what it is. A desperate attempt to turn everybody against each other like they've been doing for the last, how long now?
Yeah, exactly.
I know the quality
so
of the people that, you know, we spend time with. They're good people.
Absolutely. So mainstream media have already earned a lot of distrust from within the freedom movement around New Zealand and around the world, from what I'm hearing and what I've been told. Do you think this is going to help their case?
There'll always be those who will do nothing but listen to the mainstream media, as we've already been told, are one source of truth. But I truly believe that your everyday person now goes, oh yeah, the news, eh? Better take that with a grain of salt.
Absolutely. And what are your thoughts on what Judy was just saying about how they're passing a bill in Congress at the moment in Canada to silence independent media like myself?
I think it's absolutely disgusting. Isn't that the absolute antithesis of journalism? Shouldn't journalism be free speech, not controlled? And I couldn't help but notice they said in that documentary that New Zealand is being watched by the rest of the world to see how it'll go. We've been long referred to as a test pot country.
Yes, this is true.
Let's
Very
lead by a
interesting.
good example.
What do you think the likelihood is of the government here in New Zealand following suit with the bill that's being passed in Canada?
I personally think it's more than likely. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah. And are you planning yourself to be down in Wellington on the 23rd?
I am indeed.
Yeah. And do you think this documentary will have any effect on the people who plan on attending this protest on the 23rd?
I very much hope not. I do have some concerns because that documentary was a lot of it outright lies and misinformation. Let's not forget that word. But I very much hope people are smart enough to realise that if we act foolishly, we're simply proving the point they're trying to make. You know, we need to stand together. Be peaceful, mate. You know, don't be a bloody clown. Sorry, I'm not very articulate, but I'm straightforward.
No. I get you. So you mentioned misinformation, and to me, the definition of misinformation is spreading knowledge that may or may not be true, but you believe it's true. Whereas the definition, I feel, of disinformation is knowing that the facts are not true and spreading them anyway. Would you say it's more disinformation than misinformation, or more misinformation?
Yes, I would. Thank you for bringing that up. That's exactly what I would call it. There was blatant lies in there, and anybody that knows that certainly knows that.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Oh, well, thank you so much, Cain, for weighing in with your opinion on this. I really appreciate it. My mind is still
No worries,
processing.
Deb. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, mate. Have a good day.
Yeah,
Bye.
you too, bud. Cheers, mate.
All right. So that was Cain Alexander from Tararua Freedom Family. Bradley, why do you think they called it the Disinformation Project? Yes, absolutely. So that is another good watch. For those who haven't seen it, there is a video on YouTube by the Disinformation Project, and I can't remember how long it is, maybe half an hour, but it is a really good watch, and I do encourage other people to check that out. So message from Rachel. So Rachel's one of the admins who helped set up the Z Jackson Live page. And she has just said, I can't seem to get on. Just wanted to say it's really important for the freedom movement to vocally disavow anyone who makes threats or advocates violence, even if they are very much the minority. Those people, all right, those people are definitely out there. They were in the documentary, and we need to unequivocally condemn them again. I think they're doing a pretty good job of condemning themselves, but that is a very good point as well, Rach. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. I'll see if I can bring you on, Rachel, but no, for some reason only certain viewers come up in my feed that I can request to join. I'm not sure why. I try not to think too much into that, but it is what it is. Let me just see if there's anyone in there that I can chat with. So it says there are about approximately 80 people watching this live stream right now, but I only have a list of approximately 10 to 12 people that I can request to join this live stream right now. So I do heavily rely on other people requesting to join, because yeah, it just doesn't give me the option. It's really strange. Wow. So the time now is 5 to 4. I was certainly hoping to chat with Carleen about her opinion on the documentary, because she does appear in it quite a bit. So Carleen Louise, for those who don't know, she recently did the big tour throughout New Zealand with the Save the Children thing, bringing attention to pedophilia and things that are going on behind the scenes, especially with regards to some prominent people who are involved in it. So Carleen has done a great job spreading that message around, so a huge shout out to her. I have reached out to Chantel Baker, I've reached out to Matt King, Sue Gray, Counterspin Media, VFF. I have reached out to basically everybody who was quite prominently showed in that documentary, and I'm hoping to get their opinions, their comments or statements shortly, which I will obviously share with everybody at home. So unless there's anybody else who wants to weigh in their opinion, we will probably cut this off in the next 5 minutes. But yeah, so if you haven't seen this documentary yet, the link is on the Z Jackson Live page. It is a 1 hour long documentary, and huge trigger warning for everybody who chooses to go and watch it. So kia ora whanau, we will be talking about this again over the next few days. Stay tuned.